Hello! So today I'm going to go over a little bit of a teaser for upcoming set 10. If you haven't been following the videos recently, I've been experimenting a lot with the PBE, so I was like researching, watching lots of videos because I want to try and do really well. I'm a diamond player, I'm trying to hit masters this set. I'm going to see what happens. What I'm going to show you guys is the top 5 comps that I believe are the best right now. Probably the best for climbing or the best for gaining elo. They're just the strongest in my opinion, right? Obviously this is my opinion. This is from PBE. Things are still subject to change before everything comes out on the 21st, so take this with a little grain of salt. This is more of like a, get ready if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in PBE. So this is for Remix Rumble. If you haven't seen already, a lot of these pictures I'm taking from Robin Song's website. Robin Songs is a Twitch streamer as well as a YouTuber, really funny and does a lot of teaching stuff. Please go follow. Check out his website. He basically does like nice little outlines every single set where he shows you like a lot of the comps and how to play them. I took some of the images from this, or pretty much most of the images from this, just because I don't want to make them myself. So thank you, Robin Songs. I'll link all your stuff, and you're a real one. Okay, so number 5 on the list. Superfan, Karthus, Guardian, everything. You have everything in this comp, right? What I mean by everything is, look at all the synergies you have. Basically, this is one of those comps that's kind of like, I would equate it to like Lux Azir or Silco Azir or Strategist in general. It's one of those comps where you have like 2 main carries of 4 costs. One is like AD and one is AP, and everything just kind of synergizes well. All the units that you're playing, they have a purpose, right? So you have Sentinel tank, you have Superfan. So if you don't know, Superfan gives like +1 item as well as some extra juice on either of your headliners. In this set, a headliner is basically you have a 2-cost unit that has like a bunch of bonus effects that basically could help carry, and you can pick them out of. You can only have one headline, and you pick them out of your bar at the bottom, your shop. And you only have one at a time. So Superfan works towards buffing that. It gives like +1 item and some stats and some extra Omnivamp to them. And then you have KDA. So KDA, what it does is it kind of colors some of the hexes. And when you place them on those hexes, you get some bonus attack speed, damage, all of that stuff, right? And basically what you're doing is you have these 2 synergies that combine together. And then Karthus, what he does is he snipes the backline, right? It's crazy. So Karthus, he's basically like one-shotting because he lives for so long, and you have Archangels that scales him. And he starts one-shotting random units, low health. Bam, 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 everybody's dead. Akali's dashing around, everybody's dead. The weakness of this comp is mostly like when you have like Giga units or single target units that can kind of pick off all of your tanks and all of your other units one by one. Then it kind of falls apart, because if your Karthus isn't going infinite, then you're not really going infinite. Anyways, so the next comp, number 4 on this list, what I would say, in my opinion, MF Reroll. So MF Reroll, basically this MF unit now, she's kind of like an AD carry, right? You want to give her like large attacking items, so usually you want her to have attack speed to some extent, so usually it's like Last Whisper, but you don't really need that. The way her ult works is that if she kills somebody with her ult, she gains bonus stats. So you don't necessarily, Jinsu's like good early, but you don't necessarily need it. A lot of times you want her just to be like giga strong. And you're playing lots of synergies because you're going to play Big Shot and Jazz. The way Jazz works is the more things that you have in, the more stats you'll get for everybody. Now, this board, if you look at it, there's some 1 costs, right? Your front line doesn't look that great. Kai'Sa, Naked Kai'Sa, she's not going to do that crazy. She's mostly just for like the extra KDA and the Big Shot, just good synergies. The reason that this comp is really good is not only does Misfortune do a bunch, Misfortune and this comp might fall off late game. But what you have to consider is that this Misfortune and Bard with Jazz is probably the perfect transition to go into a 5-cost board. So in this set, the 5 costs are really strong, right? Alawi super strong, Yorick super strong, Jhin goes infinite, it's crazy, right? But a lot of times it's like you're kind of playing towards more like Jhin carry. You can put in the Sona, the Ziggs, and you can keep this MFs, right? So even if you 3-star MF, or even if you don't hit 3-star MF, right? You can push levels, go to level 9. If you 3-star MF early that you're high rolling, you still go level 9, and you can put in all of the 5 costs and replace a lot of your frontline stuff. The 1 traits, like these ones, don't count towards Jazz, but these ones do. And there's enough of them that synergize, like, you know, you put in a Zac, you put in a Thresh, you put in a lot of the other stuff that it still kind of works. It's still valuable to have Jazz in. And these 5 cost units, if you get one of them as a headliner, or you can even sell the MF and transition fully and get like headliner and go for like maybe like a 4 cost 3-star, stuff like that. And I think that's what makes it really strong, is that it gives you like an out. It's not just a reroll comp, it's like a reroll comp with like a very easy transition, which some of these other comps don't have into late game, which makes it really dependent on having a strong early game to high roll into the ability to play some of these boards and some of these units. So number 3 on the list, if you have not seen this comp, get ready. Disco Dazzler. Now, I don't agree super well with the positioning here, but maybe I'm just bad. You know, obviously I'm like way lower EO than the person who made this picture. But I think usually you want Lux to be near the disco ball as well. Lux and you usually want a Zac in. Or maybe I'm thinking of a slightly different board. When you think of Disco Dazzler, one of the other things you want is EDM, right? So this Lux, what she does is, if you haven't seen what EDM does, it basically like copies an ability, right? And basically makes them recast it. And this Lux does like insane damage. So you just put Lux here with the Twisted Fate, right? And the Disco Ball gives attack speed, and the Nami stuns. And then you just like bam, bam, just fucking lightning beams everywhere. And the sorry, not Zac, Zed EDM, because what Zed does is Zed bounces around and he like heals and does damage, and then like the Lux and the Zed are copying shit, and it just goes infinite. It just goes forever. So not only do you have like this really strong board, because like all the other disco units, they're all very strong. Like Twisted Fate is very strong. Gragas is a pretty good tank, right? It has good synergies for late game because you can put in the Alawi. Blitzcrank is pretty good, but it falls off a lot. But that's because like the main reason it falls off is when you don't have disco in, right? So a lot of times you want to put the Blitzcrank near the disco ball as well, and then you also want some extra healing on Twisted Fate, maybe like a Hextech Gunblade, to give the Blitzcrank a lot more sustain. But other than that, it's just a really solid board, and it's really cheap because like you're not really re-rolling anything. You're kind of just putting in the disco trait early, and then you drop out the weaker disco units, and then you put in the Dazzler units, and then you can go for like 3-star Lux if you're itemizing Lux. You can go for 3-star Twisted Fate if you're itemizing Twisted Fate, or you can keep pushing levels and just put in another 5 costs, and you can start 2-starring 5 costs, right? You have a lot of options for it, is what I mean to say. So it's just a very, very strong board. Number 2 on the list. Number 2. And you know that this is number 2 for me, because I've been bitching about it almost every game I've been playing. I hate it so much, and I don't know why it's not getting nerfed, but maybe it will be, or maybe it has been. Riven reroll. Holy shit. It's not, okay, let me get this straight, it's not that bad. I just find it so frustrating, because Riven, this unit, nobody balanced this unit, I swear. It's probably balanced, but I'm mostly joking, but like, holy shit, it's so annoying. So basically this unit, at level 1, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, it's like always going infinite. It's like always doing amazing things, right? So you have this thing, like, you just give it some sustain with Bloodthirster, and then you go for damage items, and then with Edgelord, it has like a bunch of attack speed, and it does like AoE as well. So the Riven just like dashes your backline, and even if it doesn't hit your carry, sometimes like the AoE just like collats your carry, and then your carry is dead. And it's like super hard to kill. It's super tanky. It moves all around. You can even give it like 8-bit synergies, so it's like flexible. You don't need to play for 5 Edgelord if you don't have it, right? You can drop some of the weaker units like Yasuo. Yone is probably a toss to itemize, because like usually you just have the Yone. The Yone serves more like a distraction if anything, but it's not like the Giga unit of hell. The real Giga unit is the Riven, and you're just kind of re-rolling everything as well. And it's just so annoying. It's just so annoying. I think that this comp is probably one of the best ones, but the thing that holds it back, if you don't know, they reduce the pool sizes, right? So right now, to hit Riven 3, there's not enough for 2 players to go Riven 3, right? there's not enough for 2 players to go Riven 3. So it's very easy to grief, right? And some people could just be playing Riven for some of the synergies. Like they could just play Riven for 8-bit if they're playing an 8-bit board, because 8-bit isn't that bad. Or if they're playing it for an edgelord board, right? So a lot of times you can get indirectly grief that you won't be able to hit Riven 3-star, and that's why you can fall off a cliff really hard late game. Which there's not like a really strong transition here besides like slowly transitioning out into 5 costs and like really strong 4 costs. Like, you know, you could play around this Viego maybe and some of the other stuff, or you can go Kale reroll if you really fall out of Riven. So there's some pivot options, but it's not the greatest pivot option. So it's more of like a risky thing that if the lobby allows you to have Riven 3, you're probably going to get top 4 or higher. And it's more like if you high roll your Riven 3, you'll get a top 1. But it's just so busted. I can't put it anywhere besides top 2. And finally, number 1 comp this set. If you want to rank up, you better know this comp, because you're going to see a lot of this shit as soon as you queue into the lobby. I swear to God. Unless they nerf it right before patch, unless they nerf it right before live. Country. Country is like what Void wish it was every day of the week. So, first of all, you're just playing 5 country. There's only 5 country units, and you're playing 5 country, so it's fine, right? A lot of these other traits, you don't really care too much about hitting like the higher levels of stuff. You know, like there's not much of a difference between like 4 or 5 or 7s of those like groups. So a lot of times you just have like the base synergy and really strong units. That's how this set kind of feels. And you're playing more towards like good units and headliners and having like good synergies like that complete your board. Is how I feel. This is like a reroll comp at its finest. Basically, your carry is Samira, right? And you just give her like a bunch of attacking items, right? She takes items really well. You see like early game people can play Jinsu on Samira, and then she just goes infinite. You usually play a Deathblade and a Sunder Gun, which I like Last Whisper I call a Sunder Gun. And then you also have Urgot, which you can give like Bloodthirst. You can make him like a strong frontline unit that attacks, but he's also like giga tanky. These units are really good at 2-star in the mid game, and then 3-star late game. They're also really strong. So throughout the whole game, you're usually like win streaking a lot. And then if you don't know, the main thing that Country does is it summons a Hecarim. I don't know if that's like Centaurus, they call it like a Dreadsteed, but it's pretty much just Hecarim if you play League. And this guy is like a better Void Remora. It's not like Baron where it has like these giga buffs, but he buffs like the whole team, right? He gives like the team some sustain. He pops up when the team's like a bit lower health, and he always comes in from the left side, so it's very predictable. But basically what you're doing is, because of the reduced pool size of all the units, every time you buy 3-cost units, you're making it easier to hit the 3-cost units, the 3-star version of those units, right? So because you're rerolling Samira and you're rerolling Urgot, a lot of times you can play Set for synergies, and you can play a Mumu for synergies. And something that's not shown here is you also have Vex, which you can put for Executioner, right? And you play all of those. Here, I'll show it. This one I actually drew a board for. You usually put them all on the left side because the Hecarim just jumps in over here, and then basically Vex gives Executioner, Amumu gives Emo for the Vex, as well as Guardian for synergies with the Thresh. So this board just is super solid, just this part. You don't even worry about the set, but you can just buy the sets because whatever. And you're basically rerolling all of them, because every time you buy one of these units, you're making it easier to hit each other. So buying them is just so efficient, and it works so well, because it's not like you're rerolling 1-stars or 2-stars, plus 3-stars, plus 4 cost. It's like you're rerolling, for the majority of the time, you're just buying all 3-cost units. It makes it so much better to hit. Also, for positioning, if you're actually going to be trying and climb, this isn't like a full tutorial, which I'll probably have closer to live, because I'm not going to make tutorials in PB, because that's just crazy. It might change. Hecarim always comes in on the left side, so a lot of times clumping your units on the left side feels like a lot safer, a lot better of a position, because your Hecarim kind of joins the fray, and makes it so that all your units are still like targeting around the same area, and it makes it a little bit better. Also to note is that if you don't know what the headliner effect, you can get +1 country, right? Which means you can even drop this Katarina, so you don't have to reroll the low cost units. You can drop the Tahm Kench or the Katarina, and you can just like play an even safer board on a lower level, right? Like on level 7, you're like, you can have this board on level 7, just remove the Katarina, right? So it's good. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll probably have like way more tutorials coming up in the future as the set is live. I feel like the way that I usually do this channel is like VODs and VOD reviews. So it will come out as I like play them in live, because a lot of PB is more learning. But this is like a good heads up, and I hope you enjoyed it. And also, just one more time, because I like to shout out if I ever take stuff from people, the images, Robin Song's website. If you're learning TFT, please check him out. Check out his website, check out his YouTube, his Twitch, his everything. All right, because you know I'm doing it. So anyways, see you guys until next video.